Why we don't want to work anymore. Have you ever woken up for work and you just got hit with one of those trends where you go like, I don't want to work anymore, bro. You stare at the ceiling and just sat there thinking, why the hell am I doing this? Why? You are not lazy. You're not entitled. You just realize something that a lot of other people have experienced but never take action. And guess what? You are not alone. So before I talk about the video, if you or your team or you own a company and you're a young entrepreneur who is targeting a business owner or business broker and you want all of your outreach in one system to generate new client, to check out my self-serving course below. But other than that, let's get back to the video. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly why none of us want to work anymore, why we want to take that next step, and we don't want to be like this anymore. So in the past, we had factories. Boomers has factory. Gen X has cubicles to work in. They always go out and go to the office, work in the cubicle. And guess what we have? iPads. We have iPads, iPhone. We are a generation that is basically chronically online. We saw 12-year-old nowadays now making more on YouTube than our parent made in a year. Think of like Ryan Toy Story. That kid is potentially the upcoming billionaires at his age. And we saw Twitch streamer, a bunch of other Twitch streamer, drop shipper, more influencer, and we all have made something that isn't the normal working anymore. And the internet have allowed us to have another way. So when someone just come into your life and say, just work hard, get agreed, climb that ladder. But when we're looking up at that ladder that's leaning against the wrong company, working for a wrong job that potentially could collapse in the next 5 or 10 years because that ladder will no longer exist. It's leading up the wrong tree. So, like I said, we are not allergic to work. We just grew up to something that works, and work doesn't have to mean 9 to 5 anymore. Doesn't have to mean going to a university and studying for a job that you don't even like. You don't have to ask anymore. We have an endless source of information that all of us can use and essentially get rich off of. And back then, work used to mean something. Back then, work was tied to your identities. Essentially, back forever ago, work was who you are. If you're a Mason, your last name would be Mason or Smith or uh, boot creator. So that is who you are. Being a plumber, being a teacher, being a builder, being a nurse meant something because you had a community and you have purpose and dignity because people respect who you are because you are something. You are playing a role in society. But now, a lot of us are just a cog in a machine run by a massive algorithm. We go into the office not knowing what we need to do, just sit there and kind of just sit there until your days is over. You don't have a boss. A lot of people are hired online now, so you have a bunch of apps that you can go on to and get your job. There isn't a specific role set for you anymore. Anyone can be basically anything nowadays, and work isn't scarce anymore. You're not fighting for one position. You can just company can just create one, like lead AI specialist. That job probably just pop up in the last year or so. People can create a bunch of other job, and it's cheap to hire because everything is online now and is disposable. So that means ultimately we are disposable as well if we don't learn something that is valuable. So why are we still pretending that getting a degree is important, and why are we still pretending that all of this nonsense is still nobles? Because look, we were raised up that way. No one really expect such a massive change in this century. Like in the last 5 years alone, the job market has completely changed and none of us have the same job anymore. AI wasn't a thing back then, but now we are struggling to find something that stay. And let me tell you this, if you try to find something that stay, like hoping for one job that will last you for centuries, it's not gonna happen. Things are basically ever changing. And in the past, boomers, Gen X and stuff, they bought their home for cheap, 3x their salaries. But now you can't even rent a studio without paying an obnoxious price for it. And if you go to college, guess what? 100K in debt. The grocery, they went up. Healthcare, they went up. And wage, stay the same. So all of that haven't changed. So that just get a job saying was you need to have more than just a job. You have to have 20, 30 job to pay for what you need nowadays. And the one that are plunged into the work market, they're not lazy. They're working, but they're not getting ahead. And they are not being lazy. They're just burnt out and sick of all of this shit. And again, we are not anti-work and we're not anti-bullshit or whatever. Just because everything just changed so much. We want to build something to create, to make stuff that have values to create into the world. And confining into these roles in societies just doesn't work anymore. And we don't want to spend the rest of our life just pretending to be busy, staying in a cubicle and impressing the big boss who doesn't even know what's this job is. It's it's basically now or never. If you don't work a remote job, having a side hustle and essentially freedom, you are trapped. So it's not because doing online job or having a side hustle is easy. But the ironic thing is, it's the realest thing that you can create and have your hand on compared to any other work out there. And in a sense, all of us knows that the system is rigged, and all of us we knows it. We basically saw banks get bail out if anything happened to them. We saw CEOs get bail out, giving they get bonuses while we get the pink slip, so we get fired. And we watch billionaires, millionaires dodge taxes, and while all of us just here struggling to pay any penny, just calculating the tax of this item, how much we should spend on this. And yeah, the society still tell you you should work harder, get a job, get a degree. That's bullshit, man. We're not stupid, dude. And essentially, we are not lazy. We're just not part of your massive scheme anymore. So, like I said, this is the reason why none of us want to work anymore. We want to have our own system, and we want to be essentially be free and take what we have and own it with kind of proudness. And yeah, so that's why none of us really want to follow that career ladder anymore. And that's why you see a lot of emergence, new startup, a lot of other influencer. And that's why content creation, coding, running a small business are something that we're working toward and something that I'm working toward. So, like I said, it's not that we don't want to work anymore. It's just that we don't want to be trapped in something and regret it for the rest of our life.